Good evening. You're now with me, Lorenzo Isaac, for TVS Nightline. We begin with this story. Sarawak is pushing to keep the 2026 Malaysia Games on track for August, citing extensive preparations and athlete eligibility concerns. Sarawak Youth, Sports and Entrepreneur Development Minister Datuk Sri Abdul Karim Rahman Hamzah says a postponement is untenable given the investments already made in logistics and high-level training.
So much has been spent in preparation, in logistics, in booking the accommodation, hotels, homestays dan sebagainya. Deposit has been paid. Our athletes had been sent all over the place, even overseas for training. And some of them, if it is going to be deferred, some of them will not be able to participate. Kerana SUKMA adalah satu-satu sukan yang mana ada had umur. 21.
The push comes amidst discussion at the national level regarding a potential deferment due to economic and geopolitical pressures. While Sarawak is advocating to maintain the current timeline, the final decision rests with the Federal Ministry of Youth and Sports, the SUKMA Supreme Committee, and the host state of Selangor. For now, Sarawak's contingent continues its training regimen as planned. Sarawak's push to reclaim its rights under the Malaysia Agreement 1963 is being carried out within Malaysia's national framework in a structured and methodical way. Deputy Minister in the Sarawak Premier's Department for Law, MA63 and State Federal Relations, Datuk Sharifah Sidah Said Aman Ghazali, says ongoing discussions between the Sarawak and federal governments are progressing smoothly, orderly, coordinated, thus guided by diplomacy.
According to Sharifah, MA63 talks between the state and the federation are grounded in best practices, professional, diplomatic, and not driven by emotion.
Contoh isu keuangan, kita bincang betul-betul dengan cara profesional. Bukannya kita terus nak madam berkelahi nak pasal tak. Profesional. Lepas ada keputusan terus dibawa ke peringkat paling tinggi. Komiti paling tinggi iaitu dipanggil Majlis Tindakan Pelaksanaan MA63 yang dipengerusikan oleh Yang Amat Berhormat Perdana Menteri dan Yang Amat Berhormat Premier kita. Atas sekali.
At the working level, she explained, dedicated committees have been set, are bringing together government officials, stakeholders, and relevant parties to drill down into MA63 issues in detail. Therefore, outcomes are elevated to the Technical Committee under the MA63 Implementation Action Council, the second highest level, chaired by Deputy Prime Minister Dato' Amar Fadilah Yusof. As such, previously, Sarawak Premier Dato' Peninggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tunabeng had earlier sent her to London to study MA63 in depth, before mapping out strategies to reclaim Sarawak's long-eroded rights under the agreement.
Authorities have cracked the largest ever drug trafficking ring in Sarawak this year, seizing over 112 kilograms of illicit substances. Valued at approximately 16.8 million ringgit, the seizure follows two coordinated operations conducted earlier this month. Sarawak Police Commissioner Dato' Muhammad Zainal Abdullah confirms the Narcotic Crimes Investigation Department disrupted the distribution network operating in Kuching. The first major breakthrough occurred on April 7 when federal narcotics officers from Bukit Aman and the Sarawak State contingent raided a residence in Santubong. The narcotics recovered in that operation alone are estimated to be worth more than 16.2 million ringgit, a quantity officials say could have supplied nearly 17,000 users.
So kedua-dua tangkapan ini berumur 41 dan 31 tahun. Lelaki dan perempuan, couple, pasangan kekasih. Kedua-dua mereka ni bekerja di sebuah premis ataupun pub lah. Okey. So hasil daripada serbuan tersebut di homestay tersebut kita telah merampas MDMA ni anggaran berat 107,524 gram. Yang dalam ni lah kan, dalam tong ni. Nanti tuan-tuan boleh tengok. Ketamin anggaran berat 1,283 gram. Pil Arimin 5 anggaran berat 180 gram. Pil ekstasi anggaran berat 102 gram. Syabu anggaran berat 28 gram.
The syndicate's modus operandi involve using the WhatsApp messaging application to facilitate transactions and distribution. Police disclosed that the suspects receive a monthly salary of 3,000 ringgit plus a commission of 5 ringgit for every drug packet produced. While both tested negative for drug use, the female suspect has a prior criminal record. Under the 1988 Dangerous Drugs Act regarding the forfeiture of property, police also seized a vehicle and cash valued at over 16,000 ringgit. In a separate operation conducted on April 19, police collaborated with the Malaysian Border Control and Protection Agency to intercept a drug smuggling attempt on Jalan Setia Raja. Officers apprehended two local men, aged 28 and 38, during the sting.
Hasil pemeriksaan, kita telah menjumpai 1,281 package cartridge vape yang disyaki mengandungi cecair ganja dengan anggaran berat keseluruhan 3,202.50 gram. So, anggaran pasaran untuk rampasan ini adalah berjumlah RM576,450 yang boleh digunakan oleh seramai 1,281 penagih dadah.
Investigators identified the two men as runners and transporters for the syndicate, allegedly receiving 8,000 ringgit for each successful delivery. The ring has been operating since last November, using homestays as storage and packaging hubs for narcotics smuggled from Peninsular Malaysia via courier services. While neither suspect has a prior criminal record and both tested negative for drug use, authorities are moving to strip the group of its assets. Malaysia is making it clear that there are no unilateral decisions when it comes to the Straits of Malacca. Instead, the focus is on ASEAN consensus to safeguard security along one of the world's most critical maritime routes. Foreign Minister Datuk Seri Muhammad Hassan says Malaysia, alongside Singapore, Indonesia and Thailand, shares a strong understanding while conducting patrols to keep the straits secure.
That is our understanding. That is the agreement between four of us. Anything on the Strait of Malacca, four of us. We have organised mula-mula di trilateral punya patrol. We have a very strong team, Malaysia, Singapore and Indonesia, to patrol. That's why you hardly hear anything that last time piracy in the Strait of Malacca.
The remarks come amid prolonged geopolitical uncertainty and West Asia developments that could heighten risks along key maritime choke points, including the Strait of Malacca. Meanwhile, he says Malaysia will continue strengthening the zone of peace, freedom and neutrality while upholding ASEAN centrality in navigating an increasingly complex global landscape. Sabu adds Malaysia must practice active neutrality, steering clear of being drawn into global power rivalries.
Iran is vowing to keep the vital Strait of Hormuz closed, directly challenging U.S. President Donald Trump's efforts to maintain a fragile, indefinite ceasefire. Tehran's top officials today declared that the waterway will remain shuttered along as the U.S. naval blockade of Iranian ports continues. The Iranian parliament speaker says a ceasefire has no meaning if a blockade is still in place, calling the U.S. presence a blatant violation of the truce. This defiance comes just days after Trump issued a last-minute, indefinite extension of the ceasefire to keep peace talks alive. The president told the New York Post he expects negotiations to resume in Pakistan within the next 48 to 72 hours. However, the diplomatic path is looking rocky. Vice President J.D. Vance has put his travel plans on hold, and a new war of words has erupted over domestic issues. With oil prices jumping 4%, the pressure is mounting. If the two sides can't even agree on when to meet, the risk of this economic standoff turning back into a shooting war grows by the hour. Yesterday, we explored how Tehran has treated its old-school propaganda for slick, AI-driven content. Now, RT correspondent Ilya Petrenko takes us further into the digital trenches to reveal how Iranian diplomacy has gone hyperlocal. This second part of the report examines a highly adaptive strategy that shifts seamlessly between playful memes in Africa, emotional community-driven appeals in Asia, and pointed, direct messaging in the West.
What really stands out, though, is how different Iran speaks depending on where it's speaking. In Africa, it's bold, chatty, almost playful. Memes, questions, rapid-fire posts, like a group chat that never sleeps.
Who is the most hated person in the world right now? We won! The killer of Manab is a real animal.
They engage local influencers, echo local frustrations. Colonial history, that's a key word.
Sovereignty isn't a gift, it's a right.
And sometimes diplomacy gets to look like this. Embassies replying to each other's tweets like they're texting on, say, WhatsApp.
Hey, Iranian embassy in South Africa. How's the vibe in South Africa? Tunisians are fully backing us and they're saying we're definitely going to win.
Here, the children of Madiba are with us. Have no doubt about it. Viva South Africa. Iranian embassy in Zimbabwe. What's going on there? Did you find the key?
Yeah, the last question isn't, of course, out of nowhere. It refers to the joke from the Iranian embassy in Zimbabwe that made headlines all over the world. Who would have thought? When Donald Trump went as far as posting stuff like "open the straight," Iranian diplomats in Zimbabwe tweeted,
"We've lost the keys."
And it doesn't stop there. In places like India or Indonesia, the tone shifts again. More emotional, more community-driven, highlighting local support for Iran, especially among the Muslim population. This tweet shows how a Kashmiri girl is breaking her piggy bank to offer at least something to the victims of U.S. and Israeli aggression in Iran. And this one from the Iranian embassy in Jakarta is with banking details for Indonesian adults who have more than just piggy banks to share. In the UK, though, the Iranian embassy doesn't tweet every minute. It's been sticking to a more conservative approach that would probably sit well with a true British gentleman, for instance, who would know that human life has a price. But in the feed that belongs to the embassy in London, there's also room for direct hits.
Imagine if someone blew up Tower Bridge. What would your reaction be? Right now, the US and Israeli regimes have done the exact same terrorist act in Iran, and they're proud of it. Please wake up and open your eyes to the truth. Israel is the biggest enemy and the most imminent threat to the world.
So, the stereotype, outdated completely, because this isn't a slow, centralized machine anymore. It's flexible, fragmented, and truly aware of how the modern information war actually works. For years, Iran has been portrayed as hopelessly behind in this space. Now Tehran's playing the game fluently, and this time it seems to land exactly where it's supposed to.
Get all the updates you need all in one app. TVS Inspire brings you live updates on events, news and programs. And that is the updates for TVS Nightline. I'm Lorenzo Isaac. Thank you for watching and have a good night.